5G sucks right now, and it is just not me talking. Look at this.
5G sucks.
And this.
5G was meant to be the future of mobile internet.
So what happened?
5G sucks. 5G sucks right now. 5G is actually worse than 4G.
5G was meant to be the future of mobile internet. We were going to be able to control robots from the other side of the world and download entire movies in seconds. But I'm on 5G right now, and with this speed, I can barely send a WhatsApp message. What happened here?
Let's find out. Before we dive into why 5G sucks and your internet, especially your wireless internet, is slow, let's dive into the technologies that is making it important and possibly one of the key technologies in the future, especially when we're talking about artificial intelligence in healthcare. Look, the whole idea behind both these technologies are what? High throughput. That basically means is that within the same lane, the number of cars that are passing are more. So if there's one lane of traffic that is going through, you can pass, instead of 100 cars, 1,000 cars. That's throughput. That's basically means, when you translate it, if you can download 1 gigabyte in 1 second, you should be able to download 100 gigabytes in 1 second. The second most important thing, in my opinion, and very crucial, is low latency. When I send a request from one device and it is received, that latency should be very, very low. This is extremely important in areas like robotic surgery. Da Vinci robots, when I'm actually playing with that, or now actually we can do telestenting. A cardiologist can be sitting halfway across the world and control how your stent is going to be placed in the heart. That is where the latency comes in. It is so important that when I move, that thing moves right away and not actually, when I make the forward and the stent is going into the one direction and not actually piercing the vessel and creating a massive bleed. So therefore, latency is so important. And of course, high capacity. It is not just about increasing the number of cars in one lane, but increasing the number of lanes itself on the highway, so you have very high capacity and multiple devices can be connected simultaneously and deliver faster, better experience to you. Now, I get it. It sucks. And what I'm going to go through this process is, first you understand the basics of this technology. Why is it taking longer to come to fruition? And what is the future, specifically in terms of artificial intelligence? Because the minute you have AI built into it, baked into it, as we talked about, computation is important. It is also very important that connectivity is there as well. Both these technologies, if you're talking about 5G and Wi-Fi6, these are basically a spectrum of technologies built on the same technological background. 5G is supposed to be meant to be used in outdoor, and however, Wi-Fi6 is supposed to be used indoor. As our society is going through a digital transformation, everything we do, work, play, and entertain ourselves, is going digitalized. So therefore, we need better, faster connection. 5G is meant to be outdoor, and 6E is supposed to be indoor. It is extremely important to understand why it is important. Globally, we are getting online. Currently, we're looking at 5 billion people that are online. 5 billion. This is not a joke. We have an 8 billion population and approximately 5 billion are already online. And therefore, the minute you're going to see these people getting more and more online, because that is where the commerce is happening. This is how you're going to work. Believe it or not, I'm getting applications from Nigeria about developers. This is just insane that we are getting so many people online and actually contributing in the digital economy that was never before possible. As you move towards physical goods being regionalized and globalization is coming downstream, we are looking at digital transformation creating a new globalization where everyone is contributing to the digital economy. My Figma designer is in Pakistan. My developers are all over the world right now. So therefore, when we are looking at this, we're going to see that as more and more people become online, healthcare is also going to be online primarily. The question really is that you may not even realize how much of your healthcare is online in terms of electronic health records, in terms of patients' contribution. Physicians and patients can be asynchronous and synchronous communication with the power of digital transformation. So that's extremely important for you to understand that artificial intelligence in healthcare is not a joke. It is a reality. It's going to take a little longer, and we will talk about that when we come to the challenges and limitations of artificial intelligence in healthcare. But you truly need to understand there is a digital transformation going on, and more people are getting online. And unfortunately, as you know, I'm not a big fan of social media, but at the end of the day, more and more people are getting online on social networks as well. And we're going to see that it literally lags around 10% behind the number of users. So if 5 billion people are online for, let's say, internet, approximately 4.5 billion people are already online on social networks as well. So getting your word out, getting these skills like presentation is also extremely important. As I alluded earlier, Wi-Fi 6 and 5G are both built on core technologies that are very complementary to each other. So I'm not going to repeat on both sides. I'm going to just talk about Wi-Fi 6 right now. One of the few key technologies I'm going to talk about is MIMO, OFDMA, and beamforming. These are the core technologies that make 5G and 6E special. Again, complementary to each other. One of the things, as I said, we need to increase throughput. How do we do that? We have increased streams. So therefore, 8 spatial streams. Number 2, we're talking about more throughput. That is basically increasing the number of channels and the bandwidth within those channels. Number 3, we want to make sure that we have increased capacity. How do we do that? More people can join in. That is MIMO, multi-user interface. So when more and more people can be served from the same lane itself, the lane can be split into multiple sublanes. OFDMA works in the same way by splitting the channels for multi-users as well. And lastly, beamforming. And this is, again, amazing and so important, especially in the mobile era. When beamforming technology is maintained, your device battery life improves significantly. And that is so very important, especially when we're looking at health IoT, Internet of Things, watches, other kinds of small devices that are going to be on your body, etc. We need to improve their battery life so that you can collect more data. And that beamforming technology is key to improving those small devices' efficiencies, because they can last longer. And when they can last longer, then you can provide more and more care. And this is, again, I work in neurology and psychiatry, and both these patient population requires, sometimes they forget, sometimes they're not in the mood, etc. So we need to make sure that the devices that we use have a longer lifespan. So therefore, we can actually get more and more data. And therefore, when they see the data improving their quality of life, then they will be more engaged to actually charge those devices and actually use them. So therefore, that beamforming technology is truly very important, in my opinion, for the future. I already talked about how robotics is going to change telesurgery. And again, this might be a stupid thing to say, and this might just be a hype cycle. And I get it. I agree 100%. They may not even be important. And being a physician, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little wary about this. I mean, is it really that important? In some cases it is. Therefore, I gave you the example of telestenting, because you cannot really transport a neurointerventionalist right away for doing a stroke care, because there's not enough bandwidth and we need to get that clot out from the brain, out of the stroke. PCI, yeah, we have 6 hours to get it done. Somebody can fly there. But prostate cancer with a Da Vinci robot, we can wait a couple of days, right? So the question really is that as the hyperacute care comes into the question, we really need these technologies. But if you do not need the hyperacute care, do we really need that? Why do we still is important? There are more than one use cases, and there are more than more use cases scenarios that are extremely important in this regard. I mean, there is a physician who doesn't know the latest and the greatest procedure, let's say in India, Pakistan, Philippines. A person over here can log in and assist them in real time. There's physician training can be much better. And this is where also the new digital experiences made possible by augmented reality and virtual reality are so important. Again, pipe dream, really? Let me explain. Let's look at this chart. We are already looking at augmented reality and virtual reality being used. There are FDA devices that are available for pain management through virtual reality. Right now, this is current status. Look at this. Nope, not a joke. We are actually using it right now. We are also using it in surgical training. We are also going to see that as we move along the life cycle of this, and blockchain is going to create tokenization. We're not talking about Bitcoin. We're not talking about Ethereum. Those are two different things. We're talking about the underlying technology of blockchain itself that creates tokenization. Every single thing that I do right now, ordering a hyperlipidemia CAT scan, can be tokenized. And somebody can actually see what is the productivity of Junaid Kalia and what is the actual cost of Junaid Kalia in this whole system. And that can provide me feedback to improve better and better. And therefore, this is going to change the way we actually function, because more and more data is going to be generated. We need more and more throughput. We need to decrease latencies, and we need to make sure that we have high capacity, because more and more people need to use these services as we go along and create new digital experiences, not just augmented and virtual reality, but also hospital management, clinical management, etc. When everything is going to be through metaverse and blockchain, and it's going to be a pipe dream, I get it, it's going to be 10 years from now, but it is coming because we need it. Both of these technologies, 5G and Wi-Fi6, has been considered one of the key technologies in business. I mean, I'm running a remote service right now, right? This video is being recorded, it's going to be sent to a video editor halfway around the world. This is going to be a 100 gigabyte file, and not to mention this camera is going to be another 100 gigabyte file. So both of these needs to be uploaded, then downloaded, and then video edited, and then uploaded to YouTube. I mean, this is a prime example right now that we are looking at. If we don't have good wireless connectivity, everything is broken. So therefore, it is an extremely crucial business technology of the future. No questions asked. Looking at the other side of the work, right? I mean, if I'm developing a machine learning model, I need to collect thousands of images of data, and then we have to upload them, then we have to train them. This all requires massive infrastructure in networking. So why is it slow? And one of the many reasons that we need to understand that this is not just an upgrade for one house, for one city. This is a global upgrade. We really need to make sure that all the devices are going to come online. And this is not a 5-year process. This is not a 10-year process. This is actually technically a 30-year process. Let me show you. What about 6G? I'm just an example. I'm not going to talk about 6G right now. It took a whole decade for us to go from 4G to 5G. It was released in 2008, and by the time it got perfected, it was really where the 5G was releasing, it was 2018. So by the time the 6G is going to be released, supposedly it's going to be 2030, and when that's going to be released, you're going to see that it took approximately 20 years, if not 30 years. So this network upgrade over time is going to be very, very important. And unfortunately, there are ways, because of regulatory environment, availability of other fiber optic issues, etc. This takes time, but it is coming. It is going to get better and better. And as we get better at it, we're going to increase our digital transformation, and then we're going to create new digital transformations. Similarly, when we see Wi-Fi6 going towards Wi-Fi 7, there's going to be doubling of all three, decreasing of latency by 2 times, increasing the throughput by at least 4 times, and of course, increasing capacity many folds as well. So we're going to see this trend following in the next 20, 30 years in our lifetime, hopefully. So the most important thing to understand is that connectivity becomes the cornerstone, and it is getting better. And once this is getting better, artificial intelligence in healthcare is going to become more of a reality. Not that it is not right now, but it is going to be more and more in your daily clinical activities. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Just one last recommendation. If you are looking to upgrade your Wi-Fi router, I would recommend these 2 devices. I'm a big fan of Nest. I think I've already shown that before. I've just upgraded myself to the Nest Wi-Fi Pro. It actually has Wi-Fi6E, which enables 6 gigahertz bandwidth. And this clearly has changed a little bit of throughput around my whole house itself. And again, this is not a sponsored event or anything, but I know that as many physicians like me use telehealth, and therefore it's extremely important that their connectivity is better. So therefore, that would be my recommendation. You use Nest Wi-Fi Pro. And if you're not happy with Google for whatever reason that may be, then you can use Arrow. Again, Arrow is now an Amazon company. Data privacy issues is always on my mind, so I just always make sure that you have that disclaimer on you. Thank you so much for viewing the video. Make sure that you subscribe, and see you in the next video.